How many times have you cried out for something and felt like your voice just disappeared into the void? Maybe you've even thought that crying out is a waste of time, something for the desperate or for those who have no other options left. But what if I told you there is extraordinary and immediate power in a genuine cry to God? It may sound contradictory, right? That's why I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to share. I'm not talking about vague prayers or empty words tossed into the air. I'm talking about a sincere and authentic cry, the kind that moves the throne of God and brings the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Are you ready to discover how to unlock this quick and powerful transformation in your life? So many people live as if they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, struggling to keep everything under control. But there is an incredible peace that surpasses all understanding when someone chooses total surrender to God. It may seem like weakness, but letting go of control is actually a sign of strength, courage, and deep faith. Imagine someone driving on a winding, dangerous road, trying to navigate alone without ever having seen the path before. Now imagine handing the wheel over to someone who knows every curve and bump ahead. That's not losing, it's winning. When someone says, "Lord, take control," they are declaring trust in divine sovereignty, believing that the best destination can only be reached by following God's direction. Trusting God's plan, especially when everything seems unclear or uncertain, doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small daily actions, a sincere prayer of surrender and decisions that reflect a yielded heart. But how can we actually reach this state of alignment with God? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Many people think that surrender means giving up, like it's some form of defeat. But the truth is, surrendering your will to God is the opposite, a bold declaration of trust in God, recognizing that His wisdom is far greater and safer than any human plan. Think of a child jumping into a father's arms from a high place. The child leaps without hesitation, not because the ground vanished, but because they completely trust the one waiting to catch them. In the same way, when you surrender to God's will, it's an expression of confidence in Him, a firm assurance that spiritual protection will come, even before you see it. It's at that exact point of total surrender that true order begins to emerge in life. When someone allows God to take control, they don't just find the peace that surpasses understanding. They begin to experience a new level of clarity and divine direction in everything they do. But why do so many people still resist giving everything to God even when they know this truth? Let's talk about that now. A common mistake is thinking we can give God only the hardest parts of our lives while keeping control over the rest. It's like inviting someone into your home but locking certain doors out of fear or shame. That's not how it works with God. True surrender requires full access, letting Him work in every area of life. Those who seek only God's blessings but refuse to let go of their own plans will rarely experience the fullness of His peace. It's like trying to sail a boat in two different directions at once. Only complete spiritual obedience can create an alignment so deep that your life is radically changed by God's direction. Imagine trying to bake a perfect recipe but insisting on changing the key ingredients. It will never turn out right. The same happens when we keep partial control but ask God to lead completely. It causes inner conflict and frustration. So what's the key to understanding the true value of full surrender? Let's look at some powerful examples from the Bible. The Bible is full of stories of ordinary people who chose to surrender their will to God's divine plan. One incredible example is King Josiah, who chose total spiritual obedience, breaking with old traditions to align his kingdom with God's will, bringing blessings and spiritual protection over an entire nation. The most powerful example, of course, is Jesus himself. In Gethsemane, he prayed one of the most profound prayers of surrender. "Not my will, but yours be done." This powerful phrase perfectly illustrates how a surrendered will leads to peace that surpasses understanding, even in the face of pain and suffering. These examples prove that surrender doesn't weaken us, empowers and elevates us. When we choose to trust God and follow His divine direction, we step into such alignment with Him that even the hardest situations become opportunities for transformation. But what role does our will play in this whole process? That's what we're going to reflect on now. Life is like a moving vehicle, and the driver is the will within us. Every decision, big or small, is filtered through that inner driver. So surrendering the wheel to God means allowing heavenly wisdom to guide every step, especially during challenging times. If someone sets out on a long journey, they'll choose the best driver, someone who knows the road well. The same applies to life. When someone says, "Lord, take the wheel," they are inviting the only one who knows the future to lead, allowing divine direction to bring peace that surpasses understanding. But surrender isn't passive. It demands daily spiritual obedience, making choices that reflect God's will over your own. So is it really worth giving up control and trusting His lead? Let's look at the real results of that choice. Life is full of unknown roads, sudden turns, and unexpected storms. At times, we feel lost and unsure of the next step. But when we choose to trust God's direction, something amazing happens. Even the hardest roads lead to safe destinations, because spiritual protection is guaranteed by God Himself. Think of an experienced guide leading someone through a dangerous trail full of traps and wild animals. No one would dare to walk it without fully trusting the guide. In the same way, surrendering to God not only eases anxiety, but also brings a supernatural peace even during chaos. God's guidance doesn't always remove challenges, but it always leads safely through them. It's like a divine compass pointing to the right destination, even when the path is crooked. But partial surrender can derail the journey. Let's see why. Some people live with selective obedience. They follow God's instructions only when those instructions match their preferences. But partial surrender doesn't bring full spiritual protection, it leads to danger. Just like the man in 1 Kings 13, who obeyed only part of God's instruction and paid a high price. Imagine baking a cake, but using only half the ingredients, replacing sugar with salt and skipping the eggs. The result, a disaster. Spiritual obedience must be whole, because God, in His divine sovereignty, knows every detail necessary for the success of your journey. Partial obedience leads to big spiritual risks. That's why true peace only comes from total surrender, trusting God's direction with your whole heart. But is it really possible to feel peace even in life's storms? Let's talk about that now. Life's struggles come in many forms: financial issues, family problems, emotional pain. But true peace isn't the absence of trouble, it's the presence of God that calms and secures the soul. And that peace only comes after total surrender to Him. It's like carrying a heavy suitcase for miles, refusing help until you re-exhausted. Now imagine handing it over to someone stronger and feeling immediate relief. That's exactly what happens when someone prays sincerely, "Lord, take control." It's allowing God to carry what's beyond your strength, finally experiencing peace that surpasses understanding. Many people resist surrendering and keep trying to solve everything alone, stretching out the suffering. But when you choose alignment with God, surrendering your will, everything changes. The weight is lifted, and the path becomes clear. So how do we build that trust in the hardest moments? Let's find out. Hard times reveal what's really inside your heart, like Ittai in 2 Samuel 15, whose faith and loyalty to God endured even the biggest storms. Anyone who chooses trusting God in uncertain times discovers incredible power. It doesn't come from the absence of trouble, but from the assurance of God's constant presence. Imagine a tiny boat in a stormy sea. Waves crash, winds blow, but someone inside is convinced they trust the captain at the helm. That's what it's like when faith in God is real. Even in turbulence, you feel peace sustained by divine sovereignty. And the secret to that peace? It's the daily decision to surrender, to say, every day, Lord, take the lead. So how do we do that in real life? Let's begin with something we all have: prayer. Surrendering to God is like signing a powerful contract. And the words that seal this surrender come through prayer. Prayer of total surrender. A moment of honesty where we say, Lord, take control. This isn't just a request, it's a declaration of trust in God. A commitment to let His divine wisdom guide every area, bringing spiritual protection, emotional healing, and divine clarity. Praying this regularly brings such a strong alignment with God that you begin to truly reign with Christ in every situation. And when you say Amen, something amazing begins. Peace that surpasses understanding becomes your daily reality. So now it's your turn. After everything you've heard, how long will you keep trying to carry what you were never meant to hold? How long will you insist on driving down roads you don't even know? You now have an extraordinary opportunity to experience something few ever truly do: the freedom that comes from total surrender to God. Isn't it time to stop resisting and say once and for all, Lord, take the wheel? Take a moment right now and reflect honestly. What area of your life is still not fully surrendered? What do you need to release to experience peace that surpasses understanding? Don't wait any longer. Pray, surrender, trust, and watch your life be transformed in extraordinary ways. Are you ready to take that step today? You've come this far for a reason. God is guiding you, and the next prayer could be exactly the answer you've been waiting for so long. Click on the video and continue your spiritual journey. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss a word from the throne of God. He is leading you, step by step,